Data umum sampaikan ke depan nggak enak ya? Nggak apa sih di webinar. Gak ada.
Maju ke depan itu apa ya?
Please.
Okay. Forward to,
Yeah, forward in
to view the chat.
chat.
Sudah? CV?
Sudah. Pak, itu yang baru datang masih banyak. Kerutuk-kerutuk. Gak apa-apa. Tadi non-skip.
Langsung dimulai katanya.
1, 2, 3.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan, Rahayu. Good morning.
Welcome back to join us and attend the 5th International Nursing Conference in conjunction with First International Postgraduate Nursing Student Conference today on the second day of our conference. To all participants, thank you for your faithful to attend our event. Our second day in this conference will bring up very important presenters like the first day of yesterday. We hope the participants can attend the seminar second day until the agenda ends. The second day of this seminar will be ended at 11 a.m.
To all participants, the first session will discuss about evidence-based practice, EBP, the application of EBP on cancer populations, by Associate Professor Chi Yin Kao from National Cheng Kung University, Taiwan, and Health System Strengthening through Community Volunteering System Quality Enhancement, by Nurse Muhammad Zulfatul A'la, MKep PhD, from Universitas Jember, Indonesia.
Yes, and we can show in the screen Mrs. Professor Ching Yin Kao. Yes, CS has joined with us now. Good morning, Professor Chi Yin Kao.
Good morning,
How are you today?
everyone. Can you hear my voice clearly?
Yes. How are you today, Professor?
I'm not sure whether everyone could hear my voice clearly.
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. And Reza, before we start our plenary today, today is special. Why?
What is it?
Who you know? Who know why today is special?
International Nurses Day.
Yes, right. Thank you, Professor. Today is our very, very special day because we together celebrate International Nurses Day. Give applause for our best nurses in the world. And the theme of IND for this year is?
Our nurses, our futures.
Yes.
Happy International Nurses Day for everyone.
Okay, we will continue to our plenary today. This session will be guided by Nasruddin Haristiani as MKes as moderator and Mrs. Siti Marina as secretary. And let me read moderator's curriculum vitae. Name Nasruddin Haristiani, MKes. She is a lecturer in Faculty of Nursing Universitas Jember since 2021, and she has graduated from Master of Biomedical Science Universitas Hasanuddin, Makassar. And I would like to invite our moderator, Nasruddin Haristiani. Please come to the stage. Yes, give applause for her. And let us together focus to the seminar. Nasruddin, time is yours.
Okay, tes. Okay, thank you Miss Ratna and Resa. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Dean of Nursing Faculty, Nurse Lantin Sulistiorini MKes, all invitations, participants, and my beloved students. Welcome to the second day of the 5th International Agronursing Conference in conjunction with the first International Postgraduate Nursing Student Conference by the theme Chronic Care Management, Bridging Theory and Practice in Healthcare Services. Before we start the agenda, I would like to say Happy International Nurses Day and give a big applause to all of us and to all the nurses all the whole world. I also want to say thank you. This is the first flower I get this year, actually. Thank you very much. My name is Roris Haristiani, and this morning I will be the moderator for the 4th and for the 5th plenary session. As participants, you're encouraged to ask questions and share your thoughts. This is meant to be an interactive discussion, so do not hesitate to contribute with your insights. We have 2 speakers in this session. The topic for the first presentation is the application of the evidence-based practice on cancer populations, and our second topic is health system strengthening through community volunteering system quality enhancement. Throughout the seminar, we encourage you to take notes and hold into any questions you may have till the end. We will aim to answer as many questions as possible during the allocated question and answer session. Without further ado, let's dive into today's discussion. For the first turn will be given by our first presenter. Please welcome Professor Chi Yin Kao, who's already joined us in this virtual room. Good morning, Professor Chi Yin Kao.
Good morning.
Can you hear my voice clearly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Ni hao ma, Professor.
Oh, your Chinese Mandarin pronunciation is very clear. I'm good, thank you. Very good.
That's the only word I know in Mandarin actually, in spite of xie xie.
Oh, so you learn 2 words.
Okay. Professor Chi Yin Kao, it's an honor that you want to join and share your insights with us at Nursing Faculty, University of Jember. Before we move to the presentation, Let me read the brief introduction of Professor Chee Kao. Professor Chee Kao graduated from the University of Melbourne. She is nursing supervisor of National Cheng Kung University Hospital since 2016 up to present. And since 2015, she has been working in Department of Nursing, National Cheng Kung University as an assistant professor up to the present. She also had an experience as a clinical research nurse, Department of Oncology, National Taiwan University Hospital, and 4 years experiences as a registered nurse in Hematology Oncology Ward, National Cheng Kung University Hospital. She has published many academic works, and all her experiences I have mentioned before brought her into her interest in chronic care, cancer care, palliative care, and clinical trial. Ladies and gentlemen, as I have mentioned before, the topic will be conducted by our first speaker is evidence-based practice on cancer populations. The presentation will begin with an introduction to EBP and its importance in healthcare. We will then explore the application of evidence-based practice, specifically in the context of cancer population. Professor Chee Kao will present the topic for 45 minutes, then following by question and answer for approximately 15 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to hear from our first speaker. To Professor Chee Kao, the time is yours.
Thank you very much for the moderator's introduction. Good morning, everyone. Happy International Nurses Day. I believe no matter now or in the future, you will contribute your professional knowledge in healthcare practice. Okay, so as today's agenda, my topic today is evidence-based practice. I will use some of the example to tell you how to implement the evidence-based practice in the application on cancer populations. And before I start, I'm not sure whether my voice you can hear clearly. Is that okay for my voice?
Yes, it's very clear, Professor.
Good. So before I start, actually I asked the committee whether I could, since I come from National Cheng Kung University, so I asked them, the committee, whether I could spend a couple of time to introduce the NCKU. So I will have a brief introduction of the NCKU. And actually, this is the photo we take from the NCKU hospital. And opposite the hospital is our Guangfu campus, and is mainly focused on a lot of different colleges. So in National Cheng Kung University, we also call NCKU, we have 11 campus, 9 college, and we also have 43 undergraduate program with 75 master degree, 45 doctor program, and 80 master degree for working professionals. So welcome. We would like to invite, because as you know, later on I will show you the 3D photos for our campus. So you could see from here, the area marked as the red is our College of Medicine and the NCKU Hospital. And the red point, the yellow dot point is our Department of Nursing. So you could see actually the NCKU is is a comprehensive university and have a lot of different campuses. So this is the 3D photos we take. And actually this is the NCKU hospital, and this is the medical college, and our department is here, okay? So this is our department. And actually, we are very welcome students to take the program from NCKU Nursing. The reason is because actually our NCKU hospital is a medical center, and we have more than 1,200 beds. Nearly is a top high-quality medical center in Taiwan. And in this, so students, they take the no matter IAPN program or IDPN program, we could provide a resource, no matter from hospital, but also from our College of Medicine. And we also provide a high quality of nursing program, not only for clinical practicum, but we also have the boarding clinical skill center, so students could practice their skill here. Then also have the hospital resource for students for their clinical practicum. And from our Department of Nursing, we also have the department resource, like we have the Muslim prayer room and sharing discussion room and breastfeeding room, and a lot of for actually a couple years ago, we just remote our teaching material. So we have the iNursing space, so we could consider in the past 3 years is the pandemic. So we use the high technology into our nursing education. Also, for our department, we also have the smart health station and restroom for student use. And the most importantly, for the international student, you may be very anxious for your first time to study abroad. So in NCKU Nursing, we have the 3 angel programs, so that could provide the support and connect no matter local and international students from our department. So these are the multi-country for our 3 angel group. And we also have, each year, we also have the international and local students field trip. So students could, through this field trip, to enjoy the Taiwanese culture, no matter in Thailand or the other city. And we also have a lot of conference or activity from college, so we could communicate and engage. Also, we have a lot of international student activities. So from here, you could see different cultures activity, and I think this is the Indonesia days. So let's a brief introduction of ZKU nursing, and I hope maybe in the future you could have we are welcome for students to apply our international program. Okay, so now I will move to the main part, which is the evidence practice. Then tell the participant how do I use the evidence-based practice on cancer populations. So before we start, we need to know what is the evidence practice. Okay, so actually, evidence-based practice based on this, the Johns Hopkins evidence-based practice for nurse and healthcare professionals. This is the handbook. Based on this handbook, it mentioned actually the evidence-based practice is a process to review, analyze, and translate the update scientific evidence. After that, through this process, we could quickly integrate the best available research along with the clinical practice and patient's preference into clinical practice. So nurse could make an informed patient care decision. Therefore, you could see this, so evidence-based practice is we need to consider our professional expertise. Then through this professional expertise, we could find the best research evidence to support our activity. But besides that, along with, we need to also consider patients' values. even because sometimes the evidence is evidence. However, if patient's value is not matched, we still need to respect patient's value. So combine these three important components, that's the evidence-based practice. Okay, so why evidence-based practice is important? Because the quality and safety education for nurse actually is a society. They define actually the nurse, they must to have the 6 competencies. And one of the competencies is the evidence-based practice. And also, a lot of the International Nursing Association and Nursing Education Association, they have also achieved the consensus. They think, as a nurse, if you are a nurse graduate from a bachelor degree, you need to know how to use the step of evidence-based practice to explore, answer, and solve clinical problems. And if today you are graduate from the master degree, you will become an advanced practice nurse, right? So at that moment, you not just understand how to use the evidence-based practice, but you need to applicate the research through the research method to analyze and intervene practical nursing problems. And you need to perform the evidence-based nursing practice to clinical practice to improve the quality of patient care. All right, so this is the 7th step of the evidence-based practice. So you could see first, at the very first beginning, no matter you are a student or currently you already become a part of the health professional, we need to keep the curiosity attitude, right? If you have the curiosity in clinical practice, then you could ask answerable questions. Then when you find a question, you will search. The step 2 is the search evidence to answer your questions. But not just you find the evidence. The step 3 is you need to appraise the evidence to see whether this evidence is valid or not. After that, the step 4 is if this evidence is valid, then you need to integrate the evidence into clinical practice. Then after you integrate the evidence in clinical practice, then you will make some changes in clinical practice, right? Then we need to evaluate these changes, whether they achieve your goal or not. And then we need to keep continuous promote our result of evaluation. If the result of the changes is positive, we need to continue to implement this update clinical practice. So this is basically the 7th step of evidence-based practice. Okay. Right. Then for the next part, I will use my example. I will use my couple examples to tell participants how I applicate the evidence-based practice on cancer populations. Okay. As the moderator's introduction, you may know after I graduate from the undergraduate students, I work as a clinical nurse, registered nurse in hematology and oncology ward for 4 years, right? So during that period, during my clinical, 4 years clinical experience, I found actually that is a taboo in our culture because people and their family, they tend to not talk the issue of death, especially for terminal patients. because family member they tend to hide patient's terminal status to patient. So patient may not aware actually their condition are at the terminal stage. Because family member believe that if patient they know their terminal status, they will become depressed, or they will. So if they don't know their condition, they will be happier if they are not knowing the truth. Okay, so that's the question I found in clinical practice. So I will ask myself, will patients be happier without knowing the truth? Is that a fact? So I searched from the literature review, and literature review shows actually cancer patients prefer full discourse of their diagnosis and their prognosis. However, their family prefer not to tell the truth to patient. And some report also mentioned nearly more than 85% of patients prefer to full disclosure, but only few of them, only 22% of them are truly informed their, no matter their diagnosis or their prognosis. And the reason patients are not truly informed is because families previous, they think they want to, not disclosure will be beneficial and not beneficial to patients. Because they think patient autonomy is not important. What I do, if I don't tell them the truth, I'm doing the best thing for the patient, and I will not hurt the patient. So it looks like my question is pretty match the evidence, right? So then I do a survey, a brief survey related to the patient care, palliative care consultation in terminal cancer patients. And in this brief survey, I found actually a lot of terminal patients, they are the top three patients need at terminal stage are psychological care. The second one is the physical care, and the third one is the truth telling. So what is this number tell us? The number tell us is actually truth telling is a clinical issue which needs to be solved. Right. Then, because previously my question and evidence also support family think if patients are not being well informed, they will be happier, right? So I do a survey for terminal cancer patients, truth telling, and their emotional disturbance. And this result shows actually patients are aware their terminal state had higher level of uncertainty, anxiety, and depression. So it means the early hospice referral and health professionals' communication training about truth telling are needed. Then it links to the next question. So I was curious, will truth telling really reduce patients' anxiety and relieve uncertainty and depression state? Because here we find the relationship, like patient aware their terminal state have higher level of uncertainty and anxiety and depression. But we don't know whether if we tell them the truth, they will be have less level of uncertainty or anxiety or depression. So my next step, I do a survey, right? I compare the patient, I separate patient as two groups. The one group is patient, they are aware of their terminal stage. And the other group is patient, they are aware of their terminal stage. Then I compare their physical, psychological, and spiritual state. The result truly found actually, for the patient, they are unaware of their terminal stage. Their uncertainty level are higher, and their anxiety level also higher, but their depression state is pretty much the same. So this finding tells us actually truth-telling could reduce patients' uncertainty and anxiety, right? And how about after this is the one part of the study. We also, based on these two groups, we also do to explore their DNR sign condition. And the result shows, actually, if patients they know their terminal stage, their DNR, sign DNR percentage is higher than the awareness group. Also, because at that time we think maybe after signing the DNR, I will be, it means the health professional will not do anything for me and just let me die, right? So we also explore that issue. We found actually for the patient, the awareness, they are aware of their terminal stage. The day from they sign the DNR to death is almost more than 2 months. And the median of day is almost is around a month, 29 days. So what is this data tell us? And here you could also see the patient, if they are aware their terminal stage, the percentage of they sign the DNR by themselves is significantly higher than unaware prognosis group, right? So what is the information tell us? Okay, so this information tell us is actually truth-telling could assist patients with their death preparation. So if I have more time to do my death preparation, it means I could this preparation will assist me to achieve the good death. So it means actually truth-telling could assist patients with death preparation and good death to achieve good death. Okay, so as I mentioned before, previously in Taiwan, when terminal patients are referred to hospital-based palliative care team, they tend to think I was forbidden by healthcare professional because if I receive palliative care, it means the health professional will not do anything for me. So this situation made me to think whether hospital palliative care team have their effect on the care for cancer patients. Then I put the control group and intervention group. I separate if patient they receive palliative care and patient, because for some patient they would refuse. If they are at the stage they could consult, refer to hospital palliative care. But if patient they refuse palliative care, I will move them to the control group. And if patient they agree to receive palliative care, hospital-based palliative care, I will put them to the intervention group and see how patients, whether hospital-based palliative care have the effect on patient care. And the result shows actually for the here is the result shows actually for these two groups, patients anxiety and depression didn't reach the significant difference, right? So it means patient, because at that time people think if I receive palliative care, I will be forbidden by the healthcare professional team. I'm waiting to death. But actually, the result shows no matter you receive the usual care or receive the palliative care, their anxiety and the anxiety and depression state are pretty much the same, right? So it means palliative care will not make patient be more anxious or more depression. Their psychological state is the same with the group they receive the usual care. And interest, actually, when patients receive the palliative care, their spiritual well-being is significant higher than the patient they receive they receive usual care. Also, their communication and appraisal support is higher than the usual care. Okay, so that means patients' palliative care could improve patients' anxiety, spiritual well-being, and their support level. Okay, so that is my first example. I use my previous clinical practice experience from terminal cancer patients to use the evidence-based practice from finding the questions, then to find the evidence, then use the evidence to do the appraisal, then integrate into a research to provide the update evidence to support the clinical practice. Okay, so this is my second example from my previous experience. Because I'm not sure whether you know, after I do my master's degree, I work as a clinical research nurse in National Taiwan University Hospital. So as a clinical research nurse, I need to handle a lot of clinical trials. And at that time, I know actually cancer clinical trial is a type of experimental treatment. It means this is not the standard treatment. It means this treatment has the potential risk with unknown side effect and uncertainty of treatment effect, because this is the experimental treatment. Okay. So my question is, at that time, a lot of cancer patients agreed to participate in a cancer clinical trial. So I wonder, how do patients make a decision regarding trial participation? If you know actually this clinical trial may not have effect on your disease, treatment effect on your disease, and also have the potential risk, why cancer patients still want to join a trial participation? So this is the question I raise. Then I do a systematic review. I try to, from literature, to find out the factor influence patients' decision regarding cancer clinical trial participation. And I summarize. Okay, so here I remember for this systematic review, we include 40 articles. And from these 40 articles, we summarize the 8 motivations, include like the people they will choose enroll a cancer clinical trial is because the first reason is they trust in health professionals. Also, they still keep the hope for the treatment benefit. And then the third motivation is they may try all the standard treatment, but this treatment is not working to their disease. So clinical trial participation is the last treatment option for them. Then some of them may have the belief of the altruism. They believe if what I do today, I will benefit for the future patients. Also, some of them are family support. Their family encourage them to participate in the clinical trial. And here are the extra care, because some patients, they think, if I enroll in a clinical trial, there is a clinical trial team members will take care of me. And I will receive extra care, extra procedure to check my disease prognosis. And I will be feel much more secure compared with I receive the standard care. Also, patients may be motivated by their past treatment experience or others' past treatment experience. And the last one is other demographic factors like age, education. These will motivate patients to participate in a clinical trial. But if we have the motivation, we must have some concern, right? And this systematic review also organize the also integrate the barrier for patients if they refuse to participate in a cancer clinical trial. This include like they fear the side effect or the treatment efficacy, like I say, because clinical trial is a research, it's not a standard care. So patient will have some concern to their side effect or treatment efficacy. Also, they also have the concern for the trial requirements and randomization process. Because for the trial, like if you because clinical trial is a research, so they have a lot of extra clinical visits to ensure patients' safety, and they may also receive a lot of procedure like the scan or receive extra CT and the blood drawing. So this to fulfill the trial requirements, and it will also make patients have some concern. Also, the clinical trial, if this is the phase 3, they will have the randomization procedure in phase 3 clinical trial. It means you may not receive the study drug, you may receive the placebo. So this process may also let patients have some concern to refuse trial participation. And some of the patients may have the heavy financial burden because maybe this person is the financial support of this family. But if you need to attend a clinical trial, you need to have the frequent clinical visit. But as a financial support at this family, you need to work. You don't have the extra time to do this trial visit, so they may not. So consider the financial burden, so they will choose not participate. Also, they think this frequently clinical visit will unable to maintain their quality of life, and they could some of them, because they are cannot participate, their disease progress, so they cannot meet the clinical trials inclusion-exclusion criteria. Or some of them already have their treatment previous. They tend to choose the standard treatment because they think that's safe, much more safer. And some of the patients mentioned actually health professionals' negative attitude toward clinical trial will also make them have some concern to trial participants. And similar with the motivation, some of their family, they also, if they hold a negative attitude to trial participation, they will also influence patients' decision. And the last one is sometimes we provide the trial information in appropriate time, because maybe at that time patients are very shocked related to their disease prognosis, or they are too rushed because the trial information, we need to do the informed consent, and it needs a lot of time for patient to absorb, to digest this information. But sometimes in the clinical visit, if we provide the information too rush, and patient may feel overwhelmed from the information, then because they think, oh, it's too complicated, it's too complicated to me, and I cannot digest, and they will feel a huge pressure, then they will refuse trial participation. Okay, so this information tell me, actually, this is material review. As I mentioned before, I select from 40 papers, but these 40 papers are mainly from Australia, the United States, the United Kingdom, and the European country. There is no papers from Asia country or no paper from Taiwan. So I ask my next questions. Do Taiwanese people have the same considerations? Because this consideration, this motivation, these barriers are mainly from the Western country, right? But whether Taiwanese people have the same consideration with my systematic review. And because from my previous sharing, for their motivation, for their barrier, they are, some of them are mentioned, they trust health professionals. They are influenced by families' attitudes or by their other patients' experience. So do they keep their autonomy when they consider trial participation? Then it will encourage me to do the other survey. So in the other study, I explore patients' consideration and their relational autonomy regarding trial participation. So here I separate the questionnaire. I surveyed 220 patients and separate them as two groups. One group is acceptor and one group is trial acceptor, and the other group is trial refuser. Then we could see here. Actually, for the trial acceptor, they tend to have lower trial concerns, but they have higher level of understanding and expectation of trial. And for trial refuser, they have higher level of, they think trial participation will change their daily life, so they refuse. And for Australism, trial acceptor tend to have higher level of score of Australism, and they think trial participation will bring them some benefit. And however, here for the autonomy, it looks like the trial acceptor have higher score of the relational autonomy compared with the trial refuser. So what is this tell us? It means it tell us as trial acceptor and refusers trial consideration are pretty much similar with my systematic review findings. But we need to be aware of the demonstration of patients' autonomy among this population, because my previous data shows actually the trial refuser, their relational autonomy level is less than trial acceptor. So I do the logistic and regression to predict which factor could predict patients' decision of trial participation. Then we find actually if you have higher education level, you will tend to compare a lower education level. You have 11 times rate odds to enroll the clinical trial compared with low education level. And the diagnosis will also, if your diagnosis is more severe, you will have more. If your diagnosis is less severe, your trial participation rate will be less than severe disease. Also, the trial consideration, if you have more trial concern, you will have less odds to participate in the trial. But if you have more understanding and expectation of the trial, your trial participation rate will be almost twice than the low level of understanding and expectation. Similar with the change in daily life and the trial benefit. However, in this model, relational autonomy is not a predictor of trial participation. So what is the data tell us? They tell us actually the education level, diagnosis, trial consideration are the important predictor for patient's decision. And after we understand that, we may need to further education for health professional. When we do the informed consent process, we need to be aware for this predictor and make sure patient's autonomy could be demonstrated in the informed consent process. Okay, so I think this is the two examples I raised to demonstrate how I use evidence-based practice on cancer population. And this is the word from Winston Churchill. He told us, evidence is stronger than argument. No matter we argued, but we need to provide the evidence to support our argument, right? So, and also from Stephen Hawking, he also mentioned the greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance. It is the illusion of knowledge. So how do we find the knowledge? We need to start from a question, right? So from the question, then we find the evidence, then appraise the evidence, just like I mentioned as the 7th step of the evidence-based practice. Then we could enhance our knowledge in our clinical practice. So I think this is my last slide of the presentation today. So I wish today's presentation we could have some discuss. If you have some question would like to ask, then we could discuss.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Chin Kao, for your insightful presentation, and also thank you for bringing us to your college, and also bringing us to see your department virtually. And also, Professor Chin Kao state on her presentation that she invite us to join international program in her college. So maybe in the future, some of you or some of our students want to continue their study. So Professor Chin Kao, very welcome to us. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Now let's open the floor for questions from our audience. Please raise your hand if you have any questions, and wait till the microphone to reach you. And please state your name and state your affiliation before you ask your questions. We have 15 minutes in this session. I will pick two or three audience to ask based on the time given in this session. So, is there any questions from audience? Please raise your hand. I see a hand over here, over there. Please raise up. Please raise up and state your name and your affiliation. Thank you for the opportunity. And thank you for the presentation from Professor Chin Yin Kao. My name is Zafira Puspitarini. I'm a student from undergraduate degree of nursing. My question is, from the presentation, it says that if the patient know about what happened to her, especially about cancer and about the clinical trial things, it will reduce their anxiety. But my question is, if we gonna describe or explain the side effect of the clinical trial, if is there gonna be is the patient anxiety gonna increase, or the patient gonna still want to do the clinical trial even after knowing there is gonna be side effect by doing so? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your questions. May I clarify your consideration, your questions? You mean in my presentation, the truth telling could reduce their anxiety, right?
Yes.
And if patient they enroll in a clinical trial, whether truth telling for your clinical trial part, I'm not so clear what your question.
I mean the side effect of clinical trial. If we gonna explain the side effect, will the patient will it's gonna make the patient change their perception about doing the clinical trial or not?
Sure. Yes. So that's why. But because the time limitation, I didn't mention the informed consent in clinical trial, because actually the clinical trial is a research. It's not a standard treatment. So during the informed consent process, we need to provide enough information to make patient understand the potential risk and the uncertainty of the treatment effect. Because this is the research, we cannot guarantee whether you receive this treatment, you will have the treatment benefit or not. So we need to fully disclose this information. Then, after patient they understand this information, then they make their own decision. That's why in my previous slide, I'm not sure. Let me share. I mentioned I'm curious whether. Can you see my slide?
Yes.
Okay. So here, I say because so that's why I want to understand how do patients they make their own decision regarding the trial participation. Okay, so from my systematic, so that's why I do the systematic review. The systematic review tell me actually trust. Patient may don't, so you could see from here, from this motivation, do you see the understanding issue? There is no understanding, right? They are based on the trust, hope. And this is one of their treatment option and the family support, right? And for the consideration, for their barrier, they did consider the fear of side effect or treatment effect and the trial procedure, right? So this means after I do this systematic review, I questions, do they still keep their autonomy when they consider trial participants? So because informed consent is very important part in clinical trial, so we want to let patient during the informed consent process, we want patient to know the trial risk and maybe the potential benefit, and want them to make their choice by themselves. So that's the finding I find. But actually, we found only the education level and diagnosis and trial consideration are the important predictor for patients that choose trial enrollment.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Safira. And thank you for the answer from Professor Chi and Kao. So I would like to invite the second audience to give the questions. Please raise your hand. And also for participants in Zoom room, if you want to ask questions, you may raise your hand or drop your questions in the chat box. Is there any questions? In the first question from Sabira, she asked about how about if we want to explain the effect or the side effect of clinical trial, how to face the patient's anxiety, and the answer from Professor Chin Kao is one of absolutely it will influence the clinical the decisions of patient since based on what she shared on her presentations, one of factor influencing the patient's clinical decision is trusting the health professionals. And how do we explain the effect or the mechanism to patients is matters. So, if there is more question from audience, please raise your hand.
May I add one more information to address the students' concern? Because you could see here, the barrier is, I mentioned before, maybe sometimes we provide the trial information at an appropriate time. Consider the moderator mentioned sometimes if patient they are receive a lot of information and make them anxious, right? Then normally we will provide. We will not ask patient make the decision directly. We tend to provide 1 week or 2 weeks for them to discuss with the family and clarify because we need some time to absorb the trial information, right? So through this time, patient their anxiety may be they could be induced and feel better. Then they could have more energy to understand the trial information and make their own decision. So here in my systematic review, I also related to the barrier, I also identified there is one item patient may feel, one factor patient may refuse trial participant is because sometimes we provide the trial information at an appropriate time because at that stage, patient may be shocked by their disease prognosis. They feel uncertain. They feel anxious. So at that time, it may not be the appropriate time to provide the trial information. So the research team member may visit the patient, could arrange another visit for the patient. After they feel better, then we provide the trial information and also invite their family to join the informed consent process. So this will assist with patients' understanding with trial information and assist them to make a better decision making. I hope my explanation could clarify students' concern.
Okay, thank you, Professor Chin Kao. She add the information that choosing the right time or choosing the appropriate time in informed consent process is matters. Is that right, Professor Chin Kao?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any question from audience? So if there is no more questions, thank you very much, Professor Chin Kao, for your explanation and for your insightful presentations.
Okay, thank you.
I personally really interested on your presentations since I myself focus on critical care as well in my department. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally come to the end part of this plenary session. Before I close this session, I would like to invite the speaker to give us some short closing remarks. Professor Chin Kau, are there any final talks before we end today's session?
I think so. Remember do I need to share my screen? Okay. Okay, so here is the 7th step. Could you see my screen?
Yes.
So have you see the 7th step of evidence-based practice?
We're on the 31 slide now.
No, I'm in page 19. Okay, is that okay again? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So I think for the how to apply the evidence-based practice is just we may need to follow these 7 steps of evidence-based practice. So I would encourage students keep a curious attitude in clinical practice. Try to find the questions, then search the evidence and appraise the evidence. Then make sure the evidence is valid and implicate in the clinical practice. Then it will help change and improve to our patient care. Right. So this is the first thing I would like to provide. And the second thing I would like to also welcome, because currently I'm the chairman of the International Affairs of NCKU Nursing. So I welcome the students to enroll to our international programs. So NCKU Nursing always welcome you. This one. Okay. I think my part is finished here. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Chin Kau. I believe that our participants gain a lot of benefit from your presentations. And one of the quotes you said on your presentation from Winston Churchill, evidence is stronger than argument. So one of the best way to prove the evidence is based on evidence-based practice. Thank you very much. Before we end this session, let us give you a certificate virtually.
Okay.
The certificate, yes. Our team will send you the certificate through your email immediately.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. Khalid, maybe you want to share the certificate? Okay, we will send you the certificate through your email.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you very much, Professor Chin Kau. Best of luck for your work and your projects ahead. And see you on another chance. Please give a big round of applause for Professor Chin Kau.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you again, Professor Chin Kau.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention and participation. Now it's time to hear from our second speaker in the 5th plenary session. We are so grateful that our last speaker will join us on this stage directly. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Muhammad Sulfatul A'la, fkep, Nurse MKep, PhD. Please have a seat. Apa kabar? So, since previously I greet our last speaker with in Mandarin, it will be fair if I greet our last speaker in Bahasa as well. Ladies and gentlemen, our agenda in these sessions are introduction, presentation for 45 minutes, question and answer session for 15 minutes, and the last is closing. Now let me introduce you to our fifth speaker. Mr. Muhammad Sulfatul A'la, fkep Nurse MKep PhD, graduated from Master of Nursing Pajajaran University in 2014. Then, in 2019, he continued his doctoral program in Faculty of Nursing, Konkan University, and he got his PhD degree recently in 2023. He has been working in Faculty of Nursing, University of Jember, since 2015 up to present. Reviewer for several journals, and he has published many academic works. The latest one is a qualitative descriptive study with the topic exploring the supportive care needs for people with cancer undergoing chemotherapy. And last year, he got best oral presentation in the international conference, Building Resilience in Nursing Leaders in Health System, conducted by Konkan University, Thailand. In 45 minutes ahead, we will hear speakers share his insight by the theme, as I have mentioned before, health system strengthening through community volunteering system quality enhancement. To Mr. Muhammad Sulfatul A'la, fkep Nurse MKep PhD, time is yours.
Thank you for the time. Okay, I will present, I think it's non-formal is okay, right? Because I am a lecturer in here, we discuss, maybe only 30 minutes is enough to, to present my presentation, I think. We need more discussion, maybe have an opinion, all of you can ask me and we discuss, it's better than I present, okay? I think it's enough, 30 minutes. Okay, please slide. PowerPoint, boss.
Maybe our team will share the PowerPoint.
It's okay, it's okay. Okay, the Honorable Dean of Faculty of Nursing, University Jember, the Honorable All Committee, the 6th International Agronursing Conference, the Honorable All Distinguished Speaker from University of Wollongong, Konkan University, University of Manchester, and National Cheng Kung University, welcome to the Jember, the Carnival City, and all the participants. This is very appropriate activity, I think, for the participants, to develop your knowledge. IANC allows you to meet a distinguished speaker in their field, so you can discuss with them. Moreover, all participants will get the opportunity to network with other participants and can become potential your collaborators in the future. Okay, thank you. I want to thank the committee for giving me, to present our work during my PhD program at Konkan University. I also thank the University of Jember, which has allowed me to pursue my PhD in Konkan University. And for participants who wish to pursue your master or PhD degree, I think Konkan University is the one appropriate and potential college to continue your education. Many insights from the learning process have brought me to this point. Okay, today I will present a paper about health system strengthening through community volunteering system quality enhancement. In this presentation, we will discuss in the 5 subtopics. The first, I will explain the introduction and background. And the second, we will discuss the health system. And the third, we will discuss health system strengthening strategies. And the fourth is the volunteering as a strategy for the strengthening the health system. And the last, the end of my presentation, I will explain briefly about my empirical study. Next. Okay, maybe this is it's not a popular term about the health system strengthening. What is the health system strengthening? Health system strengthening has been widely discussed by scholars. Many frameworks are used in developing of health system strengthening strategy. And what is the health system strengthening? WHO already, okay, thank you. Yeah, WHO defined what's mean. Health system strengthening is the process of identifying and implementing the change in policy and practice in the country health system so that the government can respond better to its health and improving health outcomes. Health system strengthening can increase cost effectiveness in dealing with the global health problems in various conditions. Moreover, health system strengthening must pay attention in health system building blocks. One of the common framework in the 6 building blocks are from WHO, and also the comprehensive change to policy and regulation, organization structure, and relationship across the health system building blocks allows more effective use of the resources to improve multiple health services. Next. Okay, this is the framework that you must understand. What is the health system? It's not only the doctor, not only the epidemiologist, nursing must understand well about this framework, because this framework is the foundation of health care services in all settings, in all health workers. So for students, especially in master student, we must understand well about this framework. This is commonly framework from WHO that's correlate with another or other subsystems in here. So this is the 6 building blocks or 6 components of health system. The first is the leadership. The second is the health information system. The third is the financing. The next is service delivery. The next is human resources and the medicine of technology. We know that the governance is the most complex but critical building blocks of any health system. It's about the role of the government in health, and its relation to other actors whose activities impact of health. And the second is about the information system. Information system have 3 domains. The first is health determinants. The second is health system performance, and the last is the health status. The next is human resources or human health workers. Defines all people engaged in action whose primary intent to protect and improve health. A country's health workforce consists broadly of health service providers and health management and support workers. And health system about product, vaccine and technologies and assure quality, safety, efficacy, and cost effectiveness, and there is scientifically sound and cost effective use. So the next is what's mean? Health financing. Health financing is the important thing. It's the way the uninsured people can use needed services and are protected from financial catastrophe associated with having to pay for them. Health financing system that achieve universal coverage in this way also encourage the provision and use an effective and efficient mix personal and non-personal services. So the last is the health services, or it's mean that service delivery. Yeah, service delivery is we talk about the services in the prevention, treatment, or rehabilitation, and also services in home, the community, or in the workplace, or in health facilities. So after we understand about what is the health system, what is the component of health system, we must understand well about the health system strengthening strategies that already done in several countries and already done by evidence and already done by the policy. This is important thing, you must understand this one. Hospital autonomy, health information system, decentralization, integration, and health insurance. All of you maybe already know the term about the first, the decentralization. I think you understand well about decentralization. About the health insurance, we call the BPJS, biaya pas-pasan gaya sosialita ya, BPJS. So the integration and contracting, maybe this is a new term, I think, the integration, contracting, and health information system. What is the integration? Integration means that integration in health services. The integration health services is seen when all health workers focus on certain disease, condition, and work together. You can see in Indonesia, integration of health services can be seen in the clinical pathway in the hospitals, and also like TB prevention in public health center. This is the integration health services, not only from the doctor but also nurses, nutrition, and other health care provider work together in here. So next about the contracting. What is the contracting? Contracting is strategy by involving the private sectors in health services. The private sector given a contract from the government to carry out the health services activities according to the agreement. You can get my term. I think we can discuss about that. This is an important thing. The next is hospital autonomy. Hospital autonomy, you can see in Indonesia is about PLU, Badan Layanan Umum. This is the one of strategies in hospital or public health centers to manage their own management and their own financing. Volunteering strategy in health system strengthening. Okay. After we discuss the existing strategy in our project, we provide other alternative relates to health system strategies. We propose the volunteering system enhancement as one of the strategy because the volunteering is part of health system. So WHO already put the volunteering in their framework. Also, the volunteering is dynamic concept and applied in other contexts. And volunteering is also related to the health system, especially in health care service delivery. So this is the one of my paper you can read my paper about the concept analysis. Because concept analysis, the important thing to understand what is the concept, how to analyze this concept before you do the research. If you didn't know about your concept, how we can do the research? So concept analysis is important to know or important to understand, especially in master and doctoral study about how to analyze the concept. And I try to analyze the concept with three components. The first is antecedents, attributes, and consequences. You can read by yourself, okay, about this concept. I think this is the important thing to know well about the concept analysis. So, what is the attribute, what is antecedent, what is the consequences? You can read. If you didn't understand, we can discuss in another opportunity because we need more time to discuss about that. So, maybe it's too easy if we use bahasa rather than using English if we discuss. Nursing role in volunteering. Nursing has a role in volunteering process because volunteering a part of health system. The synergy between nurses and volunteers may become a key strategy in improving nursing care quality in the healthcare system. Nurses can become leaders in the volunteering process. Also, nursing can assist in upgrading volunteer assist with the requirement process and make volunteer as information bridging from patient to nurse, especially in rural or remote area. So, this is the last of my presentation about the empirical study of my project in my PhD. So, you can read my paper or we can discuss more about this one because I think this method is rarely discussed about the ethnography and qualitative study. So we can collaborate, we can discuss more to make research about qualitative study. So why we do the research? You can see in my one-page summary why the cancer is important, volunteering is important, and why the chemotherapy is important to the patient. So, in cancer context, they have a complex condition. Cancer patient needs volunteer support to meet their basic needs and daily living. Volunteers' existence is caring for people with cancer has many challenges in the middle and low income countries. So this is the important thing to know about the volunteering system in cancer patient. So next for the methodology, I think for you, especially master degree and doctoral degree, philosophy foundation is very, very important to know to drive your study. If you didn't have philosophical, ideological position, you cannot do anything. You cannot do research based on the proper methodology because you don't have any philosophical issue. So I want to share you about my process in methodology. It's about postmodernism is the one of methodology in my paper, and also we use the critical social theory, cultural theory, and generalized system theory. So why we choose the qualitative study? Because we do the study in the postmodernism philosophy. We do the research in Jember. We done the research in Jember And you can see we use the multiple methodology, not only the in-depth interview, but FGD and observation to enrich the data and the triangulation data, also to thick description. We use the ethic-emic perspective, and to increase the trustworthiness also, we use the audit trail. You know, this is the important thing is about this one, trustworthiness, right? Credibility, transferability, dependability, and confirmability. This is the important thing in qualitative study. So, why is so long? So this is my research result. You can see that this is the one of framework that I proposed in my dissertation. So the important thing in strengthening something, or how to make a strategies in one of the system, we must understand well about the demand of care, your population, and you must understand about the role of volunteer itself, and the factors and the strengthening strategies. You can read this one of my proposed for the theoretical framework in volunteering system. And I hope this theoretical framework can use in another context or another phenomena. Okay, this is our research result also. We propose 6 subsystem. Because if we talk about the general system theory, one system must be consist of subsystem. And I propose 6 subsystems in the community volunteering system. This is the important thing. The people with cancer condition, health budgeting, healthcare delivery, volunteering organization management, community system, and healthcare innovation. Okay, this is the last my slide. I think all of you in your heart is say that Alhamdulillah. Okay, the conclusion is the health system strengthening is the essential framework in increasing health services. Volunteering is the one of strategy in health system strengthening. Volunteering concept is complex and need further exploration, especially in agronursing area or agricultural health. Nursing play a role in volunteering activity, and community volunteering system contain 6 subsystems. Thank you for your attention, and happy International Nurses Day. I hope you can see the Nightingale when she caring the patient, when she how to make a theory, and Nightingale how make a notes to increase the nursing care science. So I hope Nightingale can become a role model for you to caring the patient in the future. And good morning. If you have any question or discussion or opinion or other argument, we can discuss related to my presentation. It's good for me to fix my project and fix my understand about my topic. And good morning. Feel free to contact me if you have any if you have any problem about my presentation. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mr. Sulfatul A'la. So, Mr. Sulfatul A'la has give us brief information about there are 6 strategies in health system strengthening. And one of the strategies is volunteering as the strategies to improve health outcomes. And nurses plays a vital role in these strategies. So we move to the answer and question session. I invite all the audience to raise your hand if you have any questions. And please state your name and your affiliation before asking your questions. Is there any question? Is there any questions from the audience? Are you still with us? I want to hear your voice. Are you still with us? Well, if there is, you're still thinking about what you want to ask to Mr. Ava. Yes, our student, our postgraduate student, our Notulen will give the questions.
Thank you for your opportunity. Thank you for your explanation, Mr. Zulfaktul A'la. How are you? Long time no see, and congratulations for your approachment to PhD. Okay, I wanna ask you about the model of your system, volunteering system, and I wanna ask, who is the person to the eligibility to choose the volunteer to support this model system to manage the cancer? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. The great question, I think, because the volunteer is the new term, I think, for all of you. Yeah, maybe if the similarity, the volunteer, the easy way to say is like kader. Kader is the one of the volunteer, but volunteer in government. But the volunteer is commonly, broadly, more than the kader, like NGO volunteer, maybe from the religion volunteer is from the Christianity and Islamic. We have a volunteer to care the patient. But the caring in cancer, volunteering that caring in cancer is a very limited. It's maybe a little bit different with the disaster volunteer. So I hope from this research, the volunteer is not only for the disaster, but also the another condition, I think. Thank you for the question. The question is, I think, the criteria, right? Criteria of the volunteer. Volunteer in all contexts, we don't have any specific criteria. If we want to know what is the volunteer is someone that giving help to others freely without salary and working in the formal organization and do activity that can increase the quality of life of patient in several contexts. So the criteria of volunteer, I think we don't have any criteria, but factor that influence the volunteer is important about motivation, because if the motivation is not have any motivation to helping others, the volunteer cannot do effectively to the patient, because volunteer must have the special motivation and the special behavior, like the altruism behavior or the philanthropic behavior. So this is the important thing, rather than like age, like gender. I think all gender, all age, we can involve in volunteering system. But the important thing is like I said before about the antecedents. We must understand the factor, the influence, like motivation and philanthropic behavior or altruism itself. Okay, it's okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bahasa atau cukup?
Thank you very much, Mr. Ava. So I invite other participants to ask the question, and I have just got information from the committee that the participation who ask will get door prize. So I hope it will motivate you to ask the questions. Do not think that since Mr. Ava is in our college, you can meet and ask them freely. This is the best time to give your answer.
maybe if you have difficult to say in English, you can use bahasa or bahasa Jawa, bahasa
Yes.
Madura gitu ya. Biar Mbak Ruris nggak tahu juga.
Feel free to ask in bahasa. It's okay since English is not our mother tongue. Please, I invite other audience to ask. I see a hand over there. Please, the team maybe. Yes. Okay.
Thank you for the opportunity. As you mentioned, health system strengthening or HSS is one of essential strategy for improving health outcome. I want to ask, what can we do as a nurses to improve this system? Because sometimes we read in the media social, HSS is one of we avoid because it's so administrative for nurses. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much from the second question is from Nurse Ira Rahmawati.
Thank you for the question, Miss Ira. This is a great question, I think. My advisor didn't ask about that. So it's a good question. How about the nurses' role, I think, about in the health system? As I mentioned before, that health system is not about talk a doctor. It's not talk about epidemiologists. Health system is the system that use all health workers or health profession. So nurses can do in several conditions and several strategies that I mentioned before. Nurses can involve like in the autonomy, how to make the autonomy in hospital, to make the create nurses competencies and make the nurses differentiation with other health profession. We can choose or we can propose the new strategy like I done. So health system strengthening is open for all profession in all setting and all situation and all context. So you can do what's mean. You can do anything to increase the quality of health system, because health system have 6 component, and the 6 component we can increase in several condition and several setting. So I think nurses can involve in health system strengthening in several conditions, because health system is very broadly definition. It means that not only focus in hospital, but also in the community, in home, in the organization, in factory maybe, something like that. Oke, sudah paham Bu Ira? Nanti di belakang aja Bu ya.
Well, do you get the point from our speaker?
Yes, I get it. This is so detailed answer, and thank you.
So the point is, the point is our role as a nurse play an important role as a policy maker. Well, I invite other audience to ask the question. Please raise your hand and state your affiliation. I see a hand over there. Please, Nurse Siswoyo.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Rulis, as moderator in international conference in here. I have 3 questions for you, Mr. Sulfatul Ala or Mr. Alfa. There is very interesting for me about your topics. I know That is your dissertation in Thailand, I think. First question is how you compare the volunteer development in maybe other country, other cities, maybe in Surabaya or Jakarta, with in Jember about volunteer development. And number two is how your strategies to development volunteer, maybe the focusing in cancer volunteer in Jember for effective volunteer in Jember. And number three, I think the problem is cancer patient is quality of life. How to development quality of life for patient cancer. I think focusing in volunteer for patient cancer, how to development roles volunteer in patient cancer in Jember. I think that is. Thank you, Ms. Rulis. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for the question. Narsiswoyo, would you like to answer? Okay.
Thank you for the question. This is the one of my senior. I think the question is very, very great and very, very good question. So I will try to answer from my experience and from my paper and especially in my dissertation. The first, what is the comparison, the developing volunteering in Jember with another city. So it's interesting because my advisor also told me about what is difference between Jember and another city. Why you choose Jember as your context? I try to answer about the developing process because volunteering in Jember is still have a developed process. It's different with in Surabaya, Yogyakarta or Jakarta. They already have specific volunteer for cancer and already done many upgrading process, many training. So it's a little bit different with Jember. It's the new activity related to the cancer. So Jember is need to explore first to understand the situation, to describe the condition, to make new policy or new recommendation of policy to the government. So the difference is about the develop process. Jember is still in develop process. Difference with in Surabaya and Jakarta as well. Okay. The second question is about the strategies for the strengthening the volunteering system. Please, operator, you can open my PowerPoint.
To the operator, maybe
Arisan
to the
itu
operator.
Operator gaji
Excuse
buta.
me, operator, maybe you need to share the slide.
In the slide, my slide. Before that.
The previous slide.
Previous slide.
The previous
Before-
one?
Again. Yes.
This one,
This
okay.
is the one of my models that I proposed in my dissertation. Mr. Siswoyo can see the strengthening strategy in the up of my models. So the first strategy is about The first strategy is the requirement process. We need to increase the requirement process of volunteering, like student asked to me about that. So the requirement process is the important thing. The second is the specific budgeting for the volunteer, and the next is the increasing the volunteering quantity and quality, and the constructive environment, especially the condition of NGO or in public health center about the cadre. And the last, the involving public health centers. So NGO must be involved in public health center activity to know the real condition about the patient. Therefore, the volunteer can increase their quality and increase their activity to increase the quality of life of patient. So this answer is about the last question, how to increase the quality of life. So to increase the quality of life, you can see these models that we must understand first about the demand of care of cancer patient, because we cannot use these models in other contexts of patient maybe. But the demand, I think, is little bit different based on the context of the patient. The demand of cancer patient in Indonesia is different in the Thailand, or cancer patient in Jember is different with in Surabaya. So the qualitative method is important to understand the demand of care, so we can increase the quality of life based on their needs. It's not about only the intervention from another country to bring out and make the situation and make the experimental design. We can change the quality of life. It's not as simple as like that, because we must understand about the demand, specific demand of the patient, especially in your context. Okay, maybe it's enough.
There are two questions answered by our speaker today. So for the last chance, I will invite for the last chance to the audience to ask the questions. I see a hand over there, please. You may rise up and state your name and your affiliation.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. So my name is Sofiana Dewi, as a fourth semester student of Faculty of Nursing. So this system takes a lot of data, and is the system in health system strengthening can use to research study for scriptsy. If can be used for the research study, so how we can use that? Thank you.
Okay, please.
Okay,
Mr.
thank you.
Rafa.
This is the practical question, I think. Yeah? Practical question is
Straight to the point, right?
important for you. Okay, thank you for the question. The great question, I think, because we must do the research, not only the master student, but also the undergraduate student. We must have one research. Okay, you can see the health system as a system, and you can put every component to know the context, to know the definition. After that, you can do the research from the specific subsystem. It look like if you want to know the nurses' workplace, you want to know the situation of maybe system information in hospital, and you want to know about the health services, in the community or in the hospital. This is the one part of the health system research. But I want to stressing my point about the health system. It means that all of you, the nurse in the future, you must understand that this framework to know how to involve in the health system, and you can have figure out in your mind about how nurses will do in the system. It's not only talk about the research, it's talk about your mindset, it's talk about your framework thinking before you go become a nurses in the future. So in your mind, health system is important. So if you want to do something, you have a motivation that my activity is, it means that can strengthen the health system. I think it's enough. We need no need to research, especially in the undergraduate, because it's so complex and little bit more methodology. So I think the research about the health system, and I think that I mentioned before, is about the master degree. I think the minimum graduation is from master students, but for the scriptsi or the undergraduate student, I think health system we can do, but only a little part of the subsystem. It's not the whole of health system. But I stressing that health system must become your mindset, your framework in your thing when you do something in healthcare services as a nurse, or as a nurse in hospital, nurse in community, or nurse in the factory, in the nursing home, in etc. I think is my question. My answer. Sorry.
Thank you very much, for Mr. Ava. Do you get the point of the speaker?
Yes, nurse, thank you for the explanation.
Okay, and also thank you very much for your questions. The point of the speaker is you can, since the health system is a comprehensive, you can start with a little step as a student, and I'm pretty sure if we have students like Miss Sofiana and all of the audience here, our future, our nurses' future will be brighter. Okay. Mr. Sulfatul Ala, are there any final talks before we end today's session? Closing remarks maybe?
Honestly, I don't have any final closing statement, because I think it's not closing, but it's the first.
All right, nice.
Because this is the first discussion, right? So if you want to know more about my dissertation, you can ask me. But this is my jobs. Okay, the the closing statement is we must understand about, before we do the research, we must understand about the philosophical foundation. It's important. What must we do? What is we do and how we do? Because if we didn't know about what is do the research, we cannot do the research. So, and we must understand the ontological aspect, and or what is your concept to do the research, and we must understand the epistemology, or how we do the research, because this important thing before you conduct the research. It's okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Once again, thank you for sharing your knowledge and insights and experience with us. I'm pretty sure that our audience has gained a lot of valuable insights from you today. Give a big round of applause for Mr. Sulfatul Ala, fkep, MKep, PhD. Ladies and gentlemen, we've heard from two amazing speakers today who have given us different perspectives and insights. The first speaker, Professor Chien Kau, focused on the evidence-based practice on cancer population, while our second speaker, Mr. Sulfatul A'la, focused on the strategy in health system strengthening. I would say thank you for all of your participation. We hope you have enjoyed this conference and gained some valuable knowledge and inspiration from our speakers. I return to the Master of Ceremony to lead the next agenda. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah.
And have a good day, everyone.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To moderator and speaker, please stay on stage. Giving souvenir to speaker by Chairman of the 5th IANC Committee, Dr. Nes Rondianto, MKep. Okay, to moderator, maybe you can on the left side of the speaker and also the secretary. Yes. Okay, you smile. Thank you again. And let's give a big applause for our excellent speaker today. Thank you, and please kindly to be seated.
We have joined all the agenda together. We have a lot of knowledge that we get from the speakers today and yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, before we close the conference, we will announce the best presenter and best awards for 5th IANC and IPGNC.
Okay, we will announce who will be the best presenter in the 5th International Agronursing Conference 2023.
Are you ready for the winner? I can hear your voice. Are you ready for the winner? And the third place, best presenter in 5th IANC, goes to Nurse Gesit Wira Mustafa, fkep. To the Nurse Gesit Wira Mustafa, please come to the stage.
And I will announce who will be the best oral presenter. The second best oral presenter give to congratulations for Dr. Zahrani Hamzah MS. Dentist. Dentist, yeah. Congratulations, Dr. Zahreni Hamzah. Okay. Maybe his team can come to the stage. To Nurse Haryadi. Please come to the stage. Yeah. Nurse Didi as team with Dr. Zahreni Hamzah. And next, who will be the best?
And the first place, best presenter of 5th IANC goes to
Best of the best.
best of the best.
Yes, right.
Goes to Nurse Julia Kurniawati MKep.
Congratulations to Nurse Julia Kurniawati MKep, who will be the winner, best of the best oral presenter in the 5th IANC, Faculty of Nursing, Universitas Jember for this year.
And for the third place, we were presented by Nurse Gurdi. And next, we will announce the best poster at 5th IANC 2030. And the best poster goes to Dwi Okta Febrianti, SKM MKK.
Congratulations to Dwi Okta Febrianti, SKM MKK. Okay, the next certificate for our best in the 5th IANC. For the certificate, the best oral presenter. For the first best oral presenter will give by the Dean of Faculty of Nursing, Universitas Jember, Nurse Lantin Sulistiorini, fkep MKes. Please come to the stage to giving the certificate for the first best oral presenter. And for the second oral presenter will give by Dr. Rondianto MKep. And belum. Tadi katanya kalau nggak usah langsung masuk aja. Kalau ada yang mungkin nggak apa-apa, mungkin aja Mbak. Kalau ada profil. And for the third, will give by Nurse Erti Ihtiarini Dewi, SKep J. as Head of Nursing Profession Program, Faculty of Nursing, Universitas Jember. For the best poster, maybe, yes. Okay, take a picture. The theme of the best poster here, the best poster, theme from
Dwi Okta
Dwi
Febrianti.
Okta. Okay. Okay. We will invite come to the stage to Nasratno Purwandari MKep. To give the certificate to the best poster in 5th IANC. And congratulations again to all of the winners in the 5th IANC this year. Faculty of Nursing, Universitas Jember. Okay. Can take a picture again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Smile. Freestyle. Freestyle. Okay, give applause again for our winner this year. And kindly to be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, in this special day, IND 2023, it also reminded us as nursing to not only to pay attention not only in the physical but also in the psychology of our patient. So we will announce door prize to the participants who will be the best question, who will have the best question to the speaker. We hope you will enjoy the door prize and be happy with the door prize, especially today in the IND 2000. We can happy as nurse. Okay, in the first, the best for the participant with the best question. Give to Safira. Congratulations to Safira. Please come come to the stage for Safira. Maybe you can faster come to the stage for Safira. And for the second participant with best questions, we give to Nurse Ira Rahmawati. Please come to the stage. And we will inform to you that door prize. Come to the stage, Nurse Ira. Our door prize today supported by Hijab Sakila, distributor busana Muslim. Give applause for Hijab Sakila. And let's our thank, please, to the owner of Hijab Sakila, Mrs. Marina. We would like to invite you come to stage to giving the door prize for our winner, for active participants. Yes. For the participant have with the best question today. Today and yesterday, yes, today and yesterday. Safira yesterday and Nurse Ira for today. Maybe can move in the middle of the stage. Yes. And Mrs. Marina as the owner Hijab Sakila can take a picture. Congratulations.
And the door prize is already taken by 2 people. And the door prize is,
And we
there
hope
is a 3 door prize left.
the prize, yes.
And the 3 of them will give to you, the all participants who can answer the question for us.
Okay. There is a game, yeah, Reza, a game for get our 3 door prize today. So if you want get the door prize, our door prize, you must answer correctly the questions. Okay? Are you ready? Are you ready, guys? Yes. Okay, listen please.
The first question. Who is the first speaker in the first plenary sessions of yesterday?
Yes, you? Yes. Come to the stage. Yes.
Yes.
Or please, the committee have to give microphone to her. Mention your name.
My name is Nafi Romdona, and the first speaker for IANC 5 is Professor Caleb Ferguson.
Full name and where he come from correctly.
Australia. Sydney, Australia.
No? More correctly?
Western
More correct? Again, maybe another. 1, 2, 3. Please raise up your hand. Belakang, Pak.
The man with glasses.
Yes. The man with glasses. Yes, you. Stand up, please. Yes, right. Go. Just one.
The first presenter in IANC is Professor Caleb Ferguson from Western Australia. Oh, Sydney.
Again.
Yes. Western Sydney.
Repeat again.
Yes, Australia.
Repeat again.
Western Sydney, Australia.
Reza, it's correct or not?
Correct.
Not complete.
Not complete. Professor Caleb Ferguson from
Western Sydney, Australia.
Correct.
Betul salah.
Huh? No? False? Okay, again. 1, 2, 3. Yes, you. Yes. Okay. Oh. Pak, yang mana? Bukan ini? Oh, itu. I'm sorry. Okay.
The first presenter is Professor Caleb Ferguson from University of Wollongong.
No?
Wollongong.
Kok Wollongong?
University of Wollongong in Western Sydney Local Health District.
Yes, right. Correct. Congratulations.
Nama saya Indah Octavia Pasaribu.
Siapa?
Indah, please come to the stage. Give applause for Indah.
Indah, you can wait here. And for second questions is what is ready? I will read the second questions. What is the theme of this conference? What is the theme of this conference? Please raise up. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yes, stand up please. Stand up please.
The theme of this conference is chronic care management, writing theory and practice in health care services.
Correct.
That's correct.
Okay, and for the last questions, Reza.
And the last question, who is the speaker from Indonesia in this conference?
Okay, Mr. Dicky will choose one participant.
Thank you for the question. My answer is Nurse Muhammad Zulfatul A'la, MKep PhD, from University, from Faculty of Nursing, University of Jember.
Yes.
That's
Bagaimana
correct.
Pak Afa? Correct, yes. Please come here. Ya ampun. Oke. Okay, please come to the stage for the winner. For the winner game. And we will invite for the honor of Shakila Hijab to give the door prize. Okay, thank you. And please be seated. We hope the door prize will make you happy and will give benefit to you all. And thanks again to the honor Shakila Hijab.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 5th International Agronursing Conference with first International Postgraduate Nursing Student Conference. Thank you for your participation and see you in the 6th International Agronursing Conference.
Certificate or participant available on front desk.
I'm sorry, and certificate of participations will be sent by committee via email or WhatsApp. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, as a closing in this conference, don't forget to give the best as nurse to our patient. Take attention to our patient, his psychology, his physiology, all aspect of patient. You must give the best to our patient. Congratulations and happy International Nurse Day 2023 and stay healthy, stay happy for us. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you in the next event. Okay, we will invite all of the committee come to the stage. All of the committee, please come to the stage. We will take a picture. We will take a picture with the Dean, Faculty of Nursing, Universitas Jember. And for the lecture, Nursing Faculty, Universitas Jember. And for the lecture, please come to the stage. Miss Yulia, Mrs. Retno. Mr. Rismawan. And all the committee, please come here. We will take a picture. To all participants, especially the student from Nursing Faculty Universitas Jember, please stay in your chair, stay here, because after that, we will take a picture together. And then for all of students, participants, please come to the stage. Bukan, nggak jadi? Oh, oke. Oh, tuh dua sub begitu?
Oke, mohon perhatian untuk adik-adik semuanya. Untuk partisipan, silakan kita foto bersama tapi naik ke atas panggung ya. Langsung dari saf dua banjar kanan dulu silakan. Langsung kalau yang mau foto silakan. Minta tolong Mbak Tasya diarahkan ya Mbak.
Ayo monggo. Partisipan semuanya,
silakan.
Mahasiswa, dua baris mungkin majunya biar nggak gerutuk-gerutuk gitu ya, tapi mungkin bisa dibantu lebih cepat bergeraknya ke depan, monggo.
Langsung otomatis ada